Welcome to Getaway. I'm a few days into my very first river cruise experience, and I have to say, I'm settling into the pace on board very nicely. Every morning, a spot of yoga, then kick back with a pot of tea and take in all the castles and the vines passing me by. It is such a relaxing way to take it all in. And the best bit, every day there's somewhere new to explore. Our 15-day Splendours of Europe voyage with Emerald Cruises has so far taken us from our starting point in Amsterdam through to some of Germany's most charming towns along the Rhine. This week, our state-of-the-art starship Emerald Destiny will glide us along the Main and Danube rivers, further south through Germany and into Austria. Würzburg is a charming little city with a rich history and a phenomenal palace, dubbed the German Versailles. Scale of this building, it's almost overwhelming how grand it is, and just all the beautiful detail around the doors and the windows. It's quite majestic.
It is, isn't it? But wait till you see inside.
Back in the 18th century, the Würzburg residence was the home of the Prince Bishops, the elected rulers of the time.
This that we are seeing here is actually the world's largest continuous ceiling fresco.
Really?
Yes. It was done by an Italian artist, Giovanni Battista Tiepolo, and he was actually invited from Venice to paint here in Würzburg.
Every room of the residence was designed to be the finest of its era.
This is our White Hall.
This is mind-blowingly stunning.
Incredible.
I've never seen anything like it. And usually, like, a lot of Rococo is gilded, and this is kept all white. We've only got the gilding that's in the statues in that plinth there. And what was it used for normally?
This was actually the Hall of the Guards. So they were positioned here, wearing dark blue or dark red uniforms and welcoming the guests. That's it.
Wow.
It
What
was
a way
not
to
used.
greet.
That's why the hall is so white, to give this neutral background.
Oh, Sarah, what are you doing to me? This is just... I'm actually having a real physical reaction. It is so beautiful. And obviously it's used for music, like we have this stage set up at the moment.
Exactly, so this was the banquet hall, the reception hall. Everything took place in here.
Well, you captured my heart without a doubt. And, you know, people say our interior is important. Well, this is mood changing. It really is changing your emotion, how you walk, how you feel. And I have to say, I'm going to feel really different after this. I'm floating. Yeah. Of course, the lavish interiors were equal to the exquisite gardens. So how important was it to have these beautiful stately gardens to match the size and scale of this building?
It was very important, actually, because, of course, here they were representing their worldly power. So they had to show off, even in the gardens.
It's always about showing off. But the grand residence and its 18th century gardens aren't Würzburg's only famous landmarks. You cannot be here without taking in this incredible church. The colours are magnificent. St. Kilian Cathedral is the fourth largest Romanesque cathedral in Germany and stands today thanks to the city's dedicated locals.
It was actually built by our citizens. It took them almost 200 years, and there's a good reason for that. They didn't always have the funding. So you might notice these little shops that are surrounding our chapel, something very special here. That's how they collected more money. So people would rent these places, and with that money, they could finance the construction.
So rather than donations, it was an industry to build this chapel.
Exactly.
Very clever. Each day travelling with Emerald Cruises is a lovely balance of time off-board exploring and time on-board relaxing, enjoying and, of course, indulging. Top-notch food is all part of the service, and that's not the only thing winning the guests over. What has been your highlight so far?
Oh, for me, it's relaxing.
Yes.
But also not having to plan too far ahead, knowing that every day will be different.
This is a great size ship for us because it's the right number of people, immaculate service, but we can still mix in with people and then escape when we need to and have our own time. So.
Welcome back to the European holiday of your dreams, cruising through Germany along the main river. Our morning yoga studio magically transforms into an indoor swimming pool, giving us guests the best of both worlds while taking us to our next delightful port, Bamberg. This is the sweetest town. Like, everything is picture book, but at the same time, everything feels original and authentic.
Yeah, it is. Everything is kind of original, authentic, because it wasn't destroyed during the World War II. Bamberg miraculously somehow survived the war. It was mainly, some say there was Kunigunda, or patron saint, saving the city from the bombers in the air. However, the most important reason was that Bamberg was unimportant. There was no industry whatsoever around. Everything got moved away way before the war started.
Well, sometimes it's important not to be important.
Yeah, exactly, especially here in Bamberg.
The entire old town of Bamberg is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and despite its small size, it's packed with architectural delights. The new residence, which served as the seat of Bamberg's prince bishops until the early 1800s, is a glimpse into their lavish way of life with its opulent furnishings and even more extravagant gardens.
What's special about it, it's a typical Baroque garden and it's very symmetrical. So people would not only be ruled by the Prince Bishop, but also nature. They always needed to display that they are in power, they are the rule of law, and they needed to have a pompous lifestyle. That was hugely important at the time here in Bamberg.
Well, this is definitely expressed here, a pompous lifestyle.
Most definitely, yeah.
Bamberg is home to over 1,000 years of history, but it's small enough to easily explore on foot.
This was built in the Middle Ages in the 1213 and 1400s, so it's not clear which year each building was built. However, it's quite interesting because back in the day, even though it looks so brilliant nowadays, back then it was considered not at all beautiful because it was the most undesirable place to live in because this was the fisherman's quarter. However, that changed in the 1800s when the Bavarian king took over power and he saw this area saying, "This looks like my favorite city in Italy, where you have buildings built next to the rivers." And that's obviously Venice. And this is why we call this area Little Venice nowadays.
Oh, how beautiful.
Yeah.
From the beautifully preserved town of Bamberg, our Emerald Cruises Splendours of Europe journey is taking us south to Nuremberg, a city with a much more sombre history. Looking at this landscape, it's pretty hard to believe that this was one of the most bombed cities in Germany in World War II.
I agree. 92% of the old town was completely destroyed. It was heavily bombed, later restored, rebuilt. Today you may have a feeling that you are still in the old town from medieval times, but in fact the majority of what you're looking at is not more than 50, 60 years old.
So what made it such a big target?
Nuremberg was a big transport hub, major cargo distribution point. There were lots of factories which produced for the war effort here as well, so U-boats, tanks were produced here in Nuremberg.
In the decades that followed World War II, much has been done to ensure Nuremberg has risen from the ashes and been restored to its former glory.
Once we passed the gate, we entered the Imperial Castle. This is the oldest part of the castle. Unfortunately, 80% of it was quite badly damaged during the Second World War, later rebuilt, restored, and it was one of the first buildings which they decided to rebuild after the war as a symbol of going back to normality, as a symbol of bringing back life to the city as well.
Just as it's been since ancient times, the main market square remains the heart of the city. famed for its Christmas markets in winter and home to other local specialties all year round.
And this is something what we are really proud of, Nürnberger Lebkuchen, gingerbreads. The reason why Nürnberg became the capital of gingerbreads, of Lebkuchen, is the fact that exotic spices, danke, were brought from Asia to Venice, from Venice to Nürnberg, and then distributed everywhere across Europe. So they used this geographical position in their advantage and used exotic spices for those medieval recipes.
So good. So good.
Join Emerald Cruises to discover the magic of European river cruising. All meals plus selected drinks, shore excursions and more are included. Secure your unforgettable 2025 departure today with super early bird savings of up to $3,500 per person. Getaway viewers can save an additional $250 per person off the Emerald Cruises Luxury River Cruise Collection. For more information or to request your voucher, visit emeraldcruises.com.au/getaway offer. Call 1300 390 386 or speak to your travel advisor. Our 15-day Splendours of Europe cruise aboard Emerald Destiny has so far taken us into some of the Rhine, Main and Danube rivers' most charming towns. And today it's one of Germany's oldest, Regensburg.
This is the oldest monument in Regensburg. It goes back to the Roman times, 179 AD. It was the main entrance to the Roman camp called Castra Regina. And this tower is called Porta Praetoria.
What brought the Romans to Regensburg?
Because we have the big river here, River Danube, and waterways were very important in that time. The Roman soldiers, 6,000 people, wanted to have a Roman camp over here in Regensburg.
Regensburg's 12th century stone bridge has become a symbol of the city, but it's really famous for something much more significant. I hear this is the location of the very first sausage sizzle?
Yes, this place is very famous because when they built the bridge, 1135 until 46, the workers needed something to eat, and this was the place to get something to eat, so it was a sausage kitchen already very early times. It's a very special bread with the caraway seeds, so it's a very tasty bread also. It's not a white bread.
So it's not just the sausage, it's the bread and it's the sauerkraut.
It's all the compact thing with different things, with the sauerkraut and with the sweet mustard, which is coming also from Regensburg.
Well, I'll try the sauerkraut just a little bit, but
Okay.
I hate to break your heart, but I don't eat meat. But I know the crew.
Take a little bit this.
That's nice. The crew would love some. Would you like mustard? No, we'll just go plain. I can see the joy in your face with that.
I really love these.
I'll just live through you and the crew. Regensburg is home to almost 2,000 years of history, best explored by simply strolling through its ancient streets. Really love getting lost in cities like this, finding lane ways off the beaten track, because you feel like, well, this is how life used to be. Our final stop in Germany as we edge toward the Austrian border is the pretty town of Passau.
Yeah, we just passed through a very old gateway, 1,000 years old, this gateway. And it was the main entrance to the old town of Passau in ancient times. You must know that 1,000 years ago, the city was enclosed by a high wall with strong towers that had 5 exit gates to the old town of Passau. 2 of them still exist.
And that's one of them.
And that's one of them. It is the oldest one.
Passau's location at the confluence of three rivers made it an important trade centre. This is so impressive. It's white, it's bright, three towers, grand.
Yeah,
Assuming this is the main cathedral.
it is our cathedral, yes. We had here prince bishops for around about 600 years. They ruled over the city. They had their own principality here, and they were very wealthy because mainly of the salt trading.
And that's why it's so wealthy
And that
here.
is why wealthy because of all the tax and toll for the salt trading.
This is such a pretty spot. We're sitting by the river, we have the castle, the town hall with all the decorative artwork on it.
It is a very old building. It is 700 years old, or maybe even older. It belongs to the citizens since 700 years.
It's very impressive.
From our starting point in the Netherlands, through Germany and the Rhine Valley, our Emerald Cruises Splendours of Europe experience continues south into Austria. Our first port is Melk, a small riverside town known for one very large landmark.
Everywhere we stop, I keep thinking, this can't be better than the last place I've been to. And now we stop at Melk, and I just can't even take it in. This is so insane.
We are in the beautiful Abbey of Melk, the Baroque dream. The definition of Baroque is heaven on earth, so welcome to heaven.
Founded almost 1,000 years ago when a castle was donated to the Benedictine monks, it's been a working monastery ever since.
And this is as Baroque a thing as you can get. It is the magnet to bring people into church.
The idea was to create something as grand and beautiful as humanly possible.
The roof itself, the ceiling, the three-dimensional painting that they have up there gives you the illusion that you're looking deep into the heavens. You can see Hercules there with his club held high.
And what would they have used this room for?
This was for entertaining. This is the marble hall. This is the grand hall. There would be balls here, people singing, people dancing.
And then there's the glorious library, filled with 90,000 books and rare manuscripts.
Welcome to one of the most beautiful rooms, in my personal opinion. And if allowed to choose a location here in the Abbey, the library, have a look around you.
I can't get over I get the privilege to be in here. The Abbey is just as spectacular down here. It's beautiful.
You're not wrong, Shaynna, but just you wait until you see what's coming up next.
Emerald Cruises offers an unforgettable guided bike ride through the Wachau Valley.
You are riding on the River Danube bicycle path that actually goes from the Black Forest in Germany to the Black Sea in Romania.
Our leg of the journey from Melk to Dürnstein is 32 kilometres of easy cycling through charming villages, rolling vines and lush countryside.
This part of Austria is called the Garden of Austria, and most of the vegetables that you will buy in a supermarket have been from this region.
This area is just abundant with apricot trees.
There's 100,000 trees here in this part of Austria.
Oh, we are not going by this stand.
Perfect. We're not going to pass these, let me tell you.
Oh, wow.
They fresh, juicy.
Oh, my goodness.
I tell you.
Straight off the tree. This is so good. Yum-o. You did well.
Right, so we're now coming up to the village of Schwallenbach, Swollen Stream. Many different architectural styles that we have as we're cycling through here.
Oh, you can do it all the time.
An example that we have coming up there is the church. Dates back from the 11th century, Gothic in style.
I mean, if you weren't on the bike, you wouldn't see any of this.
You wouldn't see any of it, exactly.
Cycling through this gorgeous countryside really is the best way to soak in its beauty.
I've seen some vineyards on this trip, but this is wine heaven. 360.
In a distance of 10 miles, approximately 1,000 winemakers here.
I can't believe we've done almost 30 Ks and I haven't even broken into a sweat. All I've got is a thirst for wine. Dernstein is one of the smallest stops on the entire cruise, but its charm and beauty ensure that it's also one of the most memorable. I've lost count of the amount of pinch-me moments on this trip, from mind-blowing monasteries to captivating cathedrals and everything in between. But you know what I love? The fact that it's not just about being a tourist. We get the chance to really get amongst it and embrace local life. So much so that I'm now part European. Join Emerald Cruises to discover the magic of European river cruising. All meals plus selected drinks, shore excursions and more are included. Secure your unforgettable 2025 departure today with super early bird savings of up to $3,500 per person. Getaway viewers can save an additional $250 per person off the Emerald Cruises Luxury River Cruise Collection. For more information or to request your voucher, visit emeraldcruises.com.au/getaway offer. Call 1300 390 386 or speak to your travel advisor.